Ever wonder what could happen if a rabbit and a turtle became best friends? Imagine the most unlikely pair in the entire forest, a rabbit named Hopper and a turtle named Slowpoke. These two couldn't be more different, but as we will soon find out, friendships have a funny way of blossoming in the most unexpected places. In the heart of the forest, where the trees stretch high into the sky and the streams flow with the sweetest water, lives Hopper, the rabbit. Quick and full of life, Hopper is always on the go, hopping from one adventure to the next. His keen ears pick up the slightest rustle in the bushes, and his twitching nose sniffs out the crunchiest carrots in all the forest. Hopper's life is one of excitement and speed, a constant whirlwind of fun. Just a stone's throw away from Hopper's burrow, on the bank of the babbling brook, resides Slowpoke, the turtle. Slowpoke is the embodiment of calm and patience. He enjoys the simple pleasures of life, like basking in the sun on a warm day or watching the leaves change color in the fall. Unlike Hopper, Slowpoke likes to take his time, savoring every moment and every bite of his favorite food, juicy watercress. His life is a slow, peaceful journey, filled with tranquility and reflection. These two creatures appear to live in two different worlds, even though they share the same forest. Hopper, with his fast-paced lifestyle and constant need for action, and Slowpoke, with his slow, thoughtful approach to life, couldn't be more different. They've crossed paths before, but never really interacted, each content in their own little world. But there's one thing we know about life in the forest: it's full of surprises. And as fate would have it, a chance encounter was about to turn their lives upside down. One day, their paths finally crossed, and an unexpected friendship was about to begin. Hopper and Slowpoke were enjoying their newfound friendship when suddenly they faced a big problem. They were exploring the verdant forest together and came upon a wide, rushing river. Hopper, being a rabbit, could easily bound over the river with a few powerful leaps. But Slowpoke, a snail, found himself at a loss. His tiny shell house and slow speed made it impossible for him to cross the river. He simply couldn't keep up with the swift current. Hopper, filled with enthusiasm, tried to help his friend. He hopped to and fro, looking for a bridge or a shallow part of the river where Slowpoke could cross safely. But alas, the river was wide and deep all the way through. His attempts were in vain. Meanwhile, Slowpoke was not one to give up easily. He tried to build a raft out of twigs and leaves. With his tiny, determined eyes focused on the task, he worked diligently, only to see his little raft getting washed away by the strong river current. Slowpoke sighed, his tiny heart heavy with disappointment. The two friends regrouped on the riverbank, their faces mirroring their shared frustration. They had each tried their best to solve the problem in their own way, but had ultimately failed. The river, with its wide expanse and strong current, had proven to be a greater challenge than they had anticipated. Hopper looked at Slowpoke, his furry brows furrowed in concern. Slowpoke looked back at him, his tiny eyes filled with a sense of defeat. They both knew that they were in a pickle. The river stood between them and their adventure, a physical manifestation of the challenge they had to overcome. In that moment, they realized something important. They realized that they couldn't solve this problem on their own. They needed to work together, to combine their strengths and overcome their weaknesses. Only then could they hope to cross the river and continue their adventure. They realized that they couldn't solve this problem on their own. Hopper and Slowpoke decided to work together to conquer the river, and so the seeds of an ingenious plan were sown. You see, they realized they had something special, something that the river couldn't possibly compete with. They had each other, and they had teamwork. Hopper, being the nimble and agile bunny that he was, could jump high and far. But Slowpoke, the tortoise, well, he was grounded by his heavy shell. Alone, they had their limitations. But together, they were a formidable team. They put their heads together, brainstorming ideas, each contributing their unique perspective. They discussed, deliberated, and even debated. After all, problem-solving wasn't always a walk in the park, but they never lost sight of their goal, to cross the river. And then, like a light bulb turning on, the solution appeared. Hopper could carry Slowpoke on his back as he jumped over the river. It was a simple plan, but it required trust and coordination, the very essence of teamwork. Slowpoke, despite his initial apprehension, trusted his friend. He climbed onto Hopper's back, his tiny heart pounding with excitement and fear. Hopper, on the other hand, felt the weight of responsibility. He knew he had to make the jump. He couldn't let Slowpoke down. With a deep breath, Hopper focused, channeling all his bunny strength. And then, in one swift, powerful leap, he jumped. It was a breathtaking moment. The river roared beneath them, but they soared above it. A bunny and a tortoise, an unlikely team proving that nothing was impossible when they worked together. And then, they landed safely on the other side. They had done it. They had crossed the river. Their faces lit up with joy and pride. They had turned a challenge into an opportunity, transforming their individual weaknesses into collective strength. And so, with teamwork, they managed to cross the river. It was a triumph not just of their physical abilities, but of their friendship, their trust, and their belief in the power of teamwork. Crossing the river brought Hopper and Slowpoke even closer. Their hearts were full of joy, not just because they'd overcome a challenge, but because they had done it together, as friends. It was a feeling that warmed them from head to toe, like sunlight filtering through the forest canopy, touching everything with a gentle glow. Hopper, with his boundless energy and quick thinking, and Slowpoke, with his steady pace and deep wisdom, were as different as night and day. Yet, as they say, opposites attract. Their differences didn't push them apart, but rather pulled them together, binding them in ways they had never imagined. As they sat together, their fur still damp from the river, they shared stories and laughter. Hopper spoke of his adventures, hopping from one place to another, while Slowpoke told tales of the slowly changing seasons and the beauty of patience. Their stories were different. Their perspectives varied, yet they found delight in each other's company, their laughter echoing in the quiet forest. They discovered that friendship wasn't about being the same. It was about understanding and accepting differences. It was about learning from each other, growing together, and most importantly, it was about being there for each other. The river crossing had shown them that. Alone, they would have struggled, but together, they had triumphed. As they looked at their reflection in the river, they saw not just two animals, but a team. A team that was stronger together, a team that could overcome any obstacle that came their way. They realized that their friendship was not just a bond, but a strength that gave them courage, hope, and most importantly, joy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, they huddled together, their hearts beating in sync. They knew they had found something precious in each other, something that was worth more than any treasure, a friendship that was strong, enduring, and full of joy. From that day forward, Hopper and Slowpoke were inseparable. Hopper and Slowpoke's friendship taught them a valuable lesson. In a world full of hurry and scurry, two unlikely friends found each other. Hopper, the rabbit, swift and sprightly, and Slowpoke, the turtle, steady and serene. Their friendship blossomed amidst the lush green forest, each day bringing a new adventure and a new challenge. Their story is a testament to the strength of friendship that knows no boundaries. Despite their differences, Hopper, with his lightning-fast speed, and Slowpoke, with his slow and steady pace, proved that they could complement each other in ways unimaginable. When the forest was in peril and all seemed lost, it was their unity and teamwork that brought back the harmony. They taught us that no hurdle is too high, no problem too big, if we stand together. Their friendship was not about who was faster or stronger, but about helping each other when times were tough. They showed us that true strength lies in togetherness, in understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, and in believing in each other. Remember when the storm hit and the forest was in turmoil? It was Hopper's quick thinking and Slowpoke's unwavering determination that saved their home. They didn't let their differences come in the way. Instead, they used them to their advantage. That's the beauty of true friendship and teamwork. So what's the lesson here? It's simple. We shouldn't let our differences separate us. Instead, we should celebrate them, for they make us unique. They make our bonds stronger, our friendships deeper. And when we work together, we can overcome any obstacle that comes our way. The tale of Hopper and Slowpoke is not just a story. It's a lesson in friendship, in unity, in resilience. It reminds us that no matter how different we are, we can always find common ground. And so, the rabbit and the turtle lived happily in their forest, knowing they could face any obstacle as long as they had each other.